Spoiler alert, it's all about variety when it comes to plant-based lifestyle. And so I want to welcome you to our Deb show today. We are talking about the diversity of plants and fiber in fiber-rich foods. We are going to talk about the benefits of plant diversity and fiber as well. And we're going to also give you some tips for increasing your diversity of plants. We're going to look at some foods and why diversity is important and what the benefits are for you. All right, so let's dive right in to talking about the benefits. All right, so um, when it comes to plants, diversity is important. So, why is diversity important? Let's start with that. So, plant diversity actually, what it means is that we're consuming a wide variety of plant based foods. And that's essential for our healthy and balanced gut microbiome. And the diversity supports robust and resilient gut microbes, and it feeds different bacteria in our gut. So, and these are our beneficial bacteria. Because if we have the beneficial bacteria in our gut, then that means that we are going to be able to uh, keep the bad actors or those microbes that we do not want, maybe parasites and stuff, out because the good bacteria and the good microbes can kind of snuff them out. It's like in your lawn. If you have a grass in your yard, if you fertilize it and you water it and you keep it lush and green, the weeds have less chance of surviving. If you don't look after your lawn, then you end up with weeds more than you have the real grass. And so, as the one of the best ways to keep a good lawn is to keep it very healthy. Fertilize it and water it and keep it very nice, and then you can deal with the few little weeds that come up. But it's the same thing with our gut. We want to keep those beneficial bacteria happy and flourishing in our gut, and that will keep the bad actors to a minimum. And so when it comes to our gut health, again, it's all about the feeding our microbes, and we feed them with fiber. And as well, the plant diversity is great for both the fiber, and we're going to get beneficial nutrients from the plants. We talked a little bit about how you can take fiber supplements. And if you can get your fiber from your plants, then you're getting more than just the fiber. You're getting all of the wealth of nutrients with it. Another thing that's a benefit for plant diversity is our immune system. So those microbes that are in those healthy microbes and microbiome support a strong immune system. It reduces the risk of infections and inflammatory conditions. So when we have the healthy microbiome, we're getting our anti-inflammatory properties are coming to the surface. And so that also goes along with disease prevention, because when we have inflammation, it's like a smoldering fire that if you thought about your house having a smoldering fire in it, if you don't put it out, it can turn into a big house fire. And the same thing, the inflammation is like a smoldering fire, and we want to give our body a chance to snuff it out and put the fire out versus letting it burn. And once it burns into a bigger fire, this is when we end up with chronic disease. So for because we have these anti-inflammatory, um, our gut can help with the anti-inflammatory properties, and we can reduce the risk of diseases. And then there's a lot of plant-based foods that are linked to lowering chronic diseases like our heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. And in addition, um, our mental health is also impacted by our diet and our gut microbiome. So there is emerging research that is showing that a diverse microbiome will also positively impact our mental health and potentially reduce the risk of depression and anxiety, and also can go as far as helping with Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, it's kind of interesting because I have a friend who has anxiety and depression in varying degrees, and when it's at its worst, um, it's very difficult for her to even go outside. And at one point, you know, you want to be able to reach out and help somebody who's having these issues with their mental health. But whenever I would reach out to her and we would set up time for us to meet, she would cancel because on that day she was so low she couldn't even go outside and didn't want to face being in front of other people, even a good friend who's only has her best interest at heart. And unfortunately, trying different medications really didn't help very much as well. Now, she's better now, not 100%, but better. But I always just think, oh, to just improve the her diet and lifestyle, I would love to see how that would help. But this is one way that people can combat mental health issues is by making sure that they are getting a diversity of plants and also getting fiber, because our microbiome is very important for our health. Now, if you want more on kind of what those all about the health aspects, we've talked about that. And so check out our other Gut Health 101 and our Fiber 101 videos that we've done. Check them out on YouTube for sure. And so, what then, I guess, when it comes to, you know, now we know that we should get a diversity of plants. It's good for us in a number of ways. So, we want to talk about the tips for increasing our plant diversity and our fiber intake. I'm sure this isn't a new thing for you. You've probably heard this before. Eat the rainbow, eat the rainbow. You know, we talk about that. I'm just kind of fooling around with this. All right. So when we're eating the rainbow, um, why do we want to eat the rainbow? So there are so many different foods that have so many different properties. If you're always eating the same foods, you're really not getting all of the benefits. So for example, there's different foods have different fiber and also different vitamins. So when we're looking at um, the rainbow, if we're looking at, well, I've got a chart, so we'll go into that in more detail, but the different colors will help with different phytonutrients. And again, they have different benefits. And the same thing goes when we're looking at eating a variety in our grains and our legumes. Uh, for grain legumes, for sure, they all have protein and that will help. But then they have other properties and other nutrients as well. So we want to get a variety, eat the rainbow for our fruits and vegetables, and have a variety of grains and legumes. The other thing is rotate your greens. Don't always eat the same one. So I know it's easy to always eat one leafy green. Let's say you like romaine lettuce is pretty popular, but try different things, incorporate different greens instead of sticking to the same one because it's the same thing. You'll get different benefits depending on your greens. So you can try rotating between things like kale, spinach, arugula, Swiss chard. There's bok choy as well. So there's many different greens, and that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Anything but iceberg lettuce, but do rotate your greens because that is actually really important to get a variety of our greens for us. All right. And experiment with new foods. Don't always stay with the same ones. Try something new. And I've got a challenge for you that I'm going to throw up at the end, but I'll give you a sneak peek. When you go into your grocery store, look for some vegetable or fruit that you've never tried before and at least try it. You don't, it doesn't mean you have to like it, but at least if you try it, you might be expanding your repertoire of food and some of the benefits. Another great tip is to eat seasonal and local produce. When the more you can eat local, the better because I know here in Canada, especially in the winter, we get a lot of stuff shipped in from all over the world. It's coming from South Africa, Spain, Mexico, California, Florida, and many other places. And those are being shipped in. They've been, first of all, it's been a long time since they were picked from the grower on the farm, and then they travel all that distance to get to our location here in Toronto, and then you've got time sitting in the warehouses, so they are not fresh, and the longer they sit, the more they will deteriorate. And in addition to that, they usually put some kind of, they usually do something to try and preserve them. So if you can eat it fresh, you can get things local. They haven't gone through all of that travel and everything to get to your table. That's better. In addition to that, we are trying to be globally conscious of our environment. And the more travel we're using, planes and different transportation. And so that's adding to our, the fuels and everything that are being used. So if we can eat seasonal where things are freshest, and that's better. And same thing with eating local. And then I wanted to do a shout out for eating not just local, but eating organic. And I'm if you can eat organic where possible, that will help. One of the things that I want to just put a shout out for organic is that when we're eating organic, we are nurturing our soil. And what happens when we are using kind of the farming with uh, fertilizers and pesticides? First of all, we're getting more toxins into our body. And I know even with organic, it's not like there aren't some toxins, but they are definitely less. Your food will likely taste better when it's organic, but when you're depleting the soil every time you're growing a crop, when you're using the um, pesticides and all of the fertilizers, these chemical fertilizers. And yes, it grows the food bigger, better, and stronger. But what it also does is it's depleting all of the microbes that are in our soil. And that is going to also impact our microbiome because we do get some of these microbes coming from our soil. And they have found that in North America, where we are use a lot of the farming through the fertilizers and pesticides and stuff, that our microbiome diversity as a population is much less than some other places in the world where they are kind of being more rural than we are. Now, if you can't eat all organic, you can look at the EWG, which is the Environment Working Group's Dirty Dozen, and I have that for you at the end. And then I just wanted to do a little bit of a shout out here for some of the plant diversity. I'm playing around, sorry. All right, so from a plant diversity, I thought it would be interesting to look at some of the colors when we're eating the rainbow and some examples, what foods they're rich in, and then the health benefits. So if you are eating red, some examples of red are tomatoes, strawberries, and red peppers. And they are rich in lycopene, anthocyanins, and vitamin C, which is good for heart health, cancer prevention, and skin health. When we get to our green color, and these are just examples, there's spinach, broccoli, kiwi, tons more. Our leafy greens are rich in chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is the very close in chemical structure to our blood cells. And so it's very, I think it's off by just one element. So when, chlorophyll is really something that is important for us. And so you're going to get that in your greens as well as folate and vitamin K. And so what does that help us with? It helps us with our bone health, immune support, and detoxification. So, something like especially cilantro is well known to chelate all those heavy metals onto and to get them out of our bloodstream and a really good detox. So our greens were going to help with that. Our purple and blue vegetables and fruit. Blueberries is like superfood. They talk about that as being a really great, lots of anthocyanins in blueberries. There's eggplant and purple cabbage. In addition to the anthocyanins, they have resveratrol, resveratrol and vitamin C, and that is good, helps us with our antioxidants, our anti-inflammatories, and our heart health. And the yellow and orange vegetables and fruits include carrots, sweet potatoes, and oranges. Great for beta carotene, vitamin C, and potassium. And so these are good for your eye health, your immune support, and reduced inflammation. And I just want to tell you a little story. So recently I was at the eye doctor, and I hadn't been for quite a while. And so we went through some of the new technology where they not only take the photo of your retina and your eye, they now have even more technology to kind of take slices and layers and see more in depth about your eye health. And we got to talking about, what I'm doing now that I've retired from my corporate job. And he had to show me a picture of one of his patients who had macular degeneration starting. And this person's health was very not very good in general. and they decided to change their diet. Now, I don't know what they were eating, but they came back for their next checkup, and he showed me the difference in the pictures, which he was just dumbfounded by how much the eye had improved after this person started eating a better diet. And so, definitely, it's not just that it's good for your overall eye health, but you can potentially reverse some of these things by switching to a diet that is rich in diversity of plants. And so we're going to help with immune support and reduced inflammation with the orange and yellow vegetables and fruits. And so when we look at grains, some of the grains that you can eat: quinoa, barley, rice, brown rice, oats, buckwheat. And again, you can see fiber, fiber, fiber in all of them. Quinoa is a great source of protein and magnesium as well. And so this is good for muscle repair, digestive health, and bone health. Barley is digestive health, immune support, and energy production. Your brown rice is going to also help with your digestive health, bone health, and your immune support. Oats, which we can eat every day for breakfast, either as um, uh, overnight oats, or you can cook your oats and add some fruit, or you can just, what I do sometimes is I just take the oats and pour hot water on it and just let it sit for about 5 minutes. And I like it that way. Maybe not everybody will, but I prefer that to cooking the oats. So oats will help with your heart health, your muscle repair, and oxygen transport. And it's a great alternative for breakfast to, or you could have it anytime. You could add it to cookies or whatever. That's also another great way. But it's a great alternative to your boxed um, cereals. Buckwheat is good. It has fiber, magnesium, and antioxidants, and is good for digestive health, heart health, and antioxidant protection. And let's talk about legumes. Lentils, chickpeas, brown beans, kidney beans, and green peas are all lentils. They all are good with protein and fiber, and they all, but they all have differences in some of the other nutrients that they bring to the table. So, lentils, it's folate, and they're great. It's all great for muscle repair with the protein, all great for digestive health, and the folate helps with our red blood cell production. Chickpeas are high in iron, which is good for oxygen transportation. Uh, Black beans are high in antioxidants for antioxidant protection. Kidney beans are high in manganese, which is good for our bone health. And green peas are good for our bone health, and they also have vitamin K in them. And yeah, there's you will find quite a few places where pea protein is a substitute for like whey protein when you're looking at a plant-based protein source. Me, I'm going to go back to what I always say: start by eating the real foods first before you get into your supplements. You always need the real foods before anything else. And then I just want to end off with the EWG's Dirty Dozen for 2024. So these are the foods that plants, vegetables, and fruits that have been tested to have the most pesticides on them if you're not eating organic. Strawberries is number one, spinach, kale, collards, and mustard greens, grapes, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, bell peppers and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. So these are the 12 that if you, these are the 12 that would be definitely try to eat organic. And some people will say if you can't get them organic, don't eat them at all. But again, the more organics you can buy, the better, because we vote for our with our food dollars on what type of foods we're willing or we want to have in our diet. And the more that we vote for organic, this is going to help with our soil and the nutrients that we are getting, and just kind of because we are depleting our soil with the non-organic versions. And my challenge to you is to try a new plant-based food this week. Or when you go to, at least go when you go to your grocery store next time, find a new food that you haven't tried and just try it. You can research it to figure out how you can make it if you're not sure. And if you have some questions, you can always reach out to me, and I will see if I can help you on how to prepare that. So we've talked today about plant diversity, which is also, our fiber as well, and how this is good for not just our gut health, but our overall health. Because when we have a happy, healthy gut, we are going to have a happy, healthy body. All right, Kathy, any questions for today?
I really appreciate you bringing up the macular degeneration. My mom had that, and I can tell you it's so scary.
Yeah.
There's because somehow if you lose your hearing, you can always get a hearing aid. But the macular degeneration, she ended up getting shots in the whites of her eye to try and stop so the shot's called scars, and the scars stopped liquid from draining out.
Oh, wow.
And so it was very painful. And if people can just eat right now in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s and not get it in their 70s and 80s, that they're saving themselves a lot of heartache and pain.
Well, I think that's the thing is to make provide that awareness to people for the preventative side of things. Because yeah, once you're in that place, it gets harder, for sure. So yeah, it's a good call out. If we can try and prevent these things, then it's a lot easier for us later on. And even like hearing aids, you can get a hearing aid, but it's like anything else. At some point, all of the medicines, it's a slippery slope. You can only, you can get these shots and you can get medications, but they are only going to last for a certain amount of time, before you need to get more and more. And eventually, you run out of options as well for any of that stuff.
But the thing that was really scary is it took away her independence
Yeah.
because she got to a point where she couldn't drive.
Yeah.
So if the shots aren't scary enough, think about having to give up driving.
Yeah. And that goes, we did a show on diabetes, and we showed a clip for um, Eric, I think it's Eric Adams, who is the mayor of New York, and his journey through diabetes. And that's really what kind of got his attention, is his sight had gotten to a point where he was told by his ophthalmologist to give up his driver license. He was no longer fit to drive. And you're right. I mean, I can't even imagine not being able to drive and just hop in my car and go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so it's something to think about. But the good news for Eric Adams is that he was able to reverse his diabetes, improve all of his markers, like other markers like cholesterol and all that. And his sight improved as well, by turning to a whole food plant based lifestyle. And he's done amazing stuff in the city of New York, in the hospitals and in the classrooms and the schools, for promoting plant diversity, in the meals that they're offering to patients and to the kids in the schools. So great shout out. I love it. Very good. And tomorrow we will be back in the kitchen. So today, plant diversity. Tomorrow in the kitchen, we're going to do something for our gut. So we'll see you then. Bye now.